Oh, hi, honey. Off to bed already? Oh, yeah, long day. Oh, I'm sorry, sweetie. Here, get in. Are you comfortable? Good. I know I shouldn't study in bed. Yeah, I have my whole Apple ecosystem. I know I have my laptop and my iPad. Hush, I am not an iPad kid. I don't even know when the first iPad came out. Was I a kid? Huh. Who knows? But yeah, well, I have a test Thursday. I know I'm bad. I'm just now studying, which honestly isn't too bad. Like, I have 3-4 days, so I'm not doing too terrible. But me and some girls in my group, we made a shared Google Doc so we can all input our notes for this first exam. But basically typed it all up, and one of my friends made a Quizlet and added a link to the doc, which is really nice. But typed it all out. It's like 10 pages of notes. I also added some photos too, because you know that I'm a super visual person, right? So I added photos, but typed it all out, and then I converted it to a PDF and shared it and sent it, or airdropped it to my iPad. And then I went and I highlighted some things, which I know there's a lot of things saying that highlighting isn't helpful, but I like the added color. So I did that, and then drew some more pictures, and I did a couple more notes, that I wasn't able to type out. But yeah, 10 pages, but I think it should be okay. And I structured it in a way that would help. I'm trying. Yeah, this is for my visualization class. It's part of my marketing degree plan. Well, I think a lot of people think that marketing is just advertising or advertisement, but advertisement is a subcategory of marketing, and it's a big part. But there's also the analytics side, the research side, the consulting side, things like that. There's marketing in the retail space and the healthcare system space. It's a pretty broad field of subject, but anyway, the visualization kind of goes hand in hand with the analytics side of it. It's more about the oh goodness, what am I saying? You're given data sets and you have to clean it up and put it into a form of a visualization software, which can be things like Tableau, Excel, Google Charts, Power BI, things like that, and turn it into graphs. Now that sounds really simple, which sometimes it can be, but it's just knowing what to turn into a graph, because you're giving usually for marketers, they'll give you like a huge data set, and they'll ask like, oh, what's, which area should we invest in, and or which area should we send our sales team, and how do we make more revenue, blah blah blah. And so you have to figure out which of the data you want to use, and then you have to figure out which type of graph is best suited for that point. So I'm sorry, babe, am I boring you? Here, I know that you're tired and you need to go to sleep, so I'll just talk about my study notes, and hopefully you'll fall asleep. You're too cute. You don't have to stay awake, okay? It's okay. It's nice to see when you fall asleep. Okay. So just close your eyes, okay? And just listen to my voice. Listen to me blabber on and on about this test I have this week. Okay, so like I was saying, you have to figure out which data you want and which chart you want. So it can either be like, do you want to use the typical bar graph or pie chart, or chloropleth or symbol map, things like that. But first it's like, why do you want to visualize data? And a lot of people are more visual. It's a lot easier to find patterns and trends when you have a visual graph. If somebody just gave you a huge spreadsheet, it'd be really hard to pinpoint, like, oh, this year there's a huge drop or increase or whatever. But if you have a line chart or a bar graph, you can easily see that, right? So it makes data more accessible, and it helps storing it in your memory, and it also can be used to persuade others and be used as evidence. There's a whole timeline of some of the most common charts and who made what, such as Claudius Tomley. It's a weird last name, but he created the first table, not like a physical table. And then you have Rene Descartes, who made the coordinate systems, and then you have William Playfair, who made the line graph, bar chart, and pie chart, so the really common ones. And then you have Charles Menard. Oh, what was this called? Oh, forgetting the name. It's a weird graph, though. It combines like a line graph but with like a narrative as well. And then Florence Nightingale, the nurse, she made something called the coxcomb. And then you have Carl Pearson with the histogram, Jacques Burton, semiology graphique, I think he's French. And then John Touquet made the box plot, and Edward Tufte wrote a book, something about questionnaire information. But anyway, that leads us to the whole how to choose the right form of visualization. And it's mainly broken down to two things: data types and data visualization purpose. So what's the whole purpose of needing a visual? And then data types, you have categorical data, which is also known as nominal data, and this represents things. So nothing that has anything to do with a numerical value. So things as name, gender, product types, things like that. And then you have ordinal data, and this is similar to categorical data, except it has a clear order. and they have like numbers associated with them, and there's like intervals between them. So things as level of education, so you can go from like high school, GED, associate's degree, bachelor's degree, master's, PhD, so on. And then you have satisfaction level, like unsatisfactory to neutral, and then satisfactory, so things like that. I just remember it because ordinal data sounds similar to order. And then you have quantitative data. This is also known as numerical. Think of it more as like quantitative sounds like quantity, and how do you measure quantity? Usually with numbers. And this can be aggregated and measured. So this one has two subcategories. You have discrete, which is predefined at exact points. There's no in between. So some examples of this is you can have 175 like students, but you can't have 174.5 students. And then you have continuous, which is an infinite number of possible values, so such as sales and profits and things like that. Next up, we have temporal data, and this is data that is collected over a time period and usually involves dates, so things like yearly sales data or monthly sales data. And that one, temporal, sounds like temporary or time, so some of them, the names are a little bit easy to connect, understand. So that's data types. And then the second part to how to choose right visualization is the purpose. Now it can either be exploratory or explanatory, and exploratory is more on the data scientist side or analyst, so they are usually testing a hypothesis and mining for patterns, trends, and anomalies. They're seeking visual confirmation or visual exploration. Use a combination of charts. Its focus is on learning from the data. And this example is a business owner thinks that purchases on a mobile versus desktop peak at different times of the day. Now the second one is explanatory, and this is usually really simple everyday visualization. So the really common graphs like line chart, bar chart, pie charts, and scatter plots. And this is more so for managers so they can present these findings. Things that are easy to convey the message and they're simple enough to understand. So things like that. Now we have how to choose the right data visualization tools, and this one is broken down into two as well. It's out of the box visualization and programming. And thank goodness that this class we don't have to program, which is so nice. But some of the really big visualization tools are Excel, Google Charts, Microsoft Power BI, Tableau, and some geospatial tools such as ARCGIS. And then I think Google, Yahoo, and Microsoft has their own map stuff. But Excel is a little bit more the simple and rudimentary side. They do support data processing. It's good for basic visualization, but it's not interactive, and you have to customize it to adhere to your firm's design standards, and it really can't process a huge amount of data. Same as Google Charts, it kind of runs into the same issues about not being able to process really large data sets, but it's free, it's open to use, and because it's part of Google, it integrates well with their whole suite. And then you have Microsoft Power BI, and this is Tableau, which is the software that we're learning. it's Tableau's #1 competitor, and because it's Microsoft, it integrates really well with, the Microsoft suite. So, integrates well with Excel, SQL, and other things. It has a really highly intuitive user interface, which is really nice, because Tableau has the same, a similar thing. The cons are there's not many options to optimize your visuals. Let's see, where's my Tableau? Oh, okay. And then it's also expensive. So we're using Tableau, which so far I've liked. It's pretty intuitive, so you can kind of click, you can import your data, either as a text file or Excel type of file, and just click on some data sets, and it'll kind of configure a graph for you, and you can of course change that. So that's actually really nice. And then you go into the second subcategory, which is programming, and oh, thank goodness we don't have to do this, but there's things such as R, Python, and JavaScript. And the good thing about these is that they can handle large amounts of data, but you have to know how to code. So that's the con. Let's see what's next. And then you have visualization components, and there's 4 of them. But we mainly focus on 3, but there's visual cues, the coordinate system, and scale. And there's 9 visual cues. It's position, length, angle, direction, shapes, area, volume, color saturation, and color. And each one of them is, scatter plots, their visual cues or position. Bar charts, their visual cues are usually length and color, and angles are usually for pie charts, so things like that. And then the second is the coordinate system, and again, René Descartes created the coordinate system, but you have 3. You have the Cartesian, which is seen in bar and line graphs. Then you have polar coordinate system, which is seen in pie charts, and then you have geographic coordinates, which is seen in more geospatial graphs such as the choropleth and symbol graph. The next one is scale, and numerical and categorical are the most common, but you also have time. And then the 4th is context. So that's the visualization components of a chart. And then there are 4 steps to prepare data, and it's structuring, cleaning, aggregating data from different sources, and then validating that data. And then we have visualizing time, and this is my weakest area. The goal is to see the evolution of quantities over time, and with temporal data you have discrete and continuous, and for Tableau, discrete is blue and continuous is green. But discrete, these are more a finite number of possible values, and you see this more in bar charts, stacked bar charts, Gantt charts, and point charts. And then you have continuous, and this is more seen in the time series line charts, which William Playfair created. You see it in step charts, and you can use smoothing and estimation to create lines, especially with point charts. Now there's a couple of main charts we have to really focus on, and for the test I think she's gonna give us like a data set and then a couple of questions, and we're gonna have to actually make these charts and submit them. But we have bar charts, and this is for discrete values. William Playfair created this chart, and this is more, it's mainly for visualizing categorical data, which is on the x-axis, and then you have numerical on the y, and again it's used to visualize discrete data, and as well as discrete temporal data, and its visual cues are its length and color. These aren't usually too hard to make. And then you have a line chart, and this is a time series chart, so it's continuous data. And William Playfair also created these. It's easier to see trends, and just points, you know. And then you get to pie charts, which William Playfair created the pie chart as well, and its visual cue is angles. Now, the thing about pie charts is that it's visually problematic, so you have to make sure to use labels, and it can't have too many categories. So you have to make sure the color's okay, and it can't be too difficult to interpret the data. So it's widely used. A lot of people use pie charts. I'm not that against them, but there's a lot of criticism that surrounds using pie charts. And then you have histograms, and bar charts are really similar, except histograms use bin sizes, and it has to do more so with ranges at the bottom. And Carl Pearson created this, and this one, its visual cue is height. We then have a continuous density plot. It's like a histogram, but it's kind of like what you see in statistics. It's like that line, like that little hill, and then you have symmetric, left skewed and right skewed. And then we're moving on to the box plot, which was created by John Tukey, and this shows range, median, and quartiles of the data, and its visual cues are its height or length. Then you have stem and leaf plots, which show frequency, and then you get the scatter plots, which was created by Rene Descartes, and scatter plots are really good about showing the relationship between two variables. Like, our relationship would be strong and positive. So we would have a really strong R square value as well as a really strong R value, which is a coefficient of correlation. Yes, ours would be strong and positive. So really